record to the cloud. I'm the tech person there. So welcome everybody. Thank you for coming to the meeting today. As you heard, we are recording the meeting, which, sometimes that's great because if you can't come and you have a conflict, you get to still see it. But also we sometimes don't get folks here that might have been because they can see the recording when they have a better schedule to do so. So very happy to see everybody that we're seeing today. You are here at Senior Roundtable, and we're very glad that you are with us today. So a couple of folks that we want you to know of. My name is Laura Steigelman. I am the Senior Roundtable Facilitator. I'm very honored every time we get these meetings. From the topic, Kris's topic today, I'm really looking forward to that. I need it for myself and the people that I care about. So I am thrilled to be here as your facilitator. And we have been doing this for 15 years, believe it or not. We just last year had our 15-year anniversary. We are heavily supported by Elder Source. Gabby is here. I don't know if she's camera ready yet, but Gabby's on here. Andrea hopefully is joining us. I know she's registered to come, so hopefully she's going to be here too. But those two folks behind the scenes, they send out those email notices. They support us. We had our in-person meeting in January, and they hosted us there as well. So we really appreciate everything that Elder Source does. And Senior Roundtable was started by the Community Foundation. Officially 15 plus years ago, they started doing some research and some grants kind of into the senior sector, the elder sector, and realized a lot of the different agencies didn't know of each other or what each other does. So they could help each other, collaborate, et cetera. And that's how Senior Roundtable got started. They still fund us today. And Janet Ellen is our connection. She had a conflict this morning. She's going to try to jump in before the end of the meeting. So if you have never met Janet, make sure you say hello to her. They're a great group to know. And they've been all over the news lately because of Dolores Weaver's $61 million that she is now distributing to nonprofits. So Community Foundation is heavily involved in all those different kinds of things. So very, very grateful to those folks. If you are willing to keep your video on, that's awesome. We love it just because it's that eye contact, especially when you're the speaker and things like that. It's just nice to be able to see faces. I have done classes before where it was a completely black screen. You don't even know if anyone's there. So it is a luxury to be able to see folks' faces on Zoom. So if you're willing to do that, that's great. On the bottom, you will see a chat box. And on the chat box, when you click on that chat box, Herb is our Zoom producer today. So you will see that he has put a welcome in there and some information about how to put your name underneath your video feed so people know who you are. Big part of the networking piece of this. And then if you have any questions or comments or you need help with Zoom, if you want to just put that into the chat box and Herb will do his best to help you. There's also a mute. So if you're willing to keep yourself on mute in case there's some background noise, doorbell, dog, that kind of thing. But please, at any time, if you need to ask a question or something like that, feel free to unmute yourself. You can do that along that Zoom ruler on the bottom, or you can do that hovering over your own video piece. First and last name under your video, if you're willing to, organization also, if applicable. And again, just peer networking, just, gosh, I finally met somebody who works there. I met somebody who works there, et cetera. And as you see, the meeting will be recorded and eventually next week will be posted on YouTube for you to look at again or share with others. Who is Senior Roundtable? And by show of hands, who's brand new to their first Senior Roundtable meeting? Awesome. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so Senior Roundtable, again, coalition of anybody who's interested in senior topics and networking with others that are also interested in senior topics. So we meet every other month. Our next meeting, 2 months down the road, 2 months down the road. We do have most of the meetings this year will be on Zoom. We're hoping to have a couple quarterly socials that if people want to show up in person, no program or anything like that, just to see each other in person. No charge ever to attend. Great opportunity to network. And then we always try to pick a topic that we think would be helpful to others, either in their job or for themselves or whatever that might be. So you can see that mission statement down below there. Agenda for today. We have a great meeting sponsor. Matthew is here with Assisting Hands Home Care. You'll hear from them shortly. Opportunity to meet others here. Great program for you. We've got Kris here to talk about falls prevention. And that title is inclusive without a doubt, but there's a lot of different things. When I saw what Kris is kind of more of thick of an agenda. It was going to be a lot of different things that Kris talks about. That's going to be really helpful, I believe. I know I'm looking forward to it from a learning standpoint myself. And then if you are still with us, I hope you are at the very end. Our meeting sponsor will be giving away 2 $25 gift cards. You have to be present to win, and we'll draw for those at the end of the meeting, and we'll get those emailed out to you, so you can enjoy that as well as you head into your weekend. So if you do have any announcements at all, please feel free to put those in the chat box. Even your organization, or if you have an event coming up, a senior prom, a senior fishing day, anything that you need help with that you're looking for somebody to collaborate with, that is one of the biggest purposes of the chat box in this meeting. Is it's a way for you to connect with each other in addition to whatever the meeting is talking about. So please feel free to go ahead and use that chat box throughout the meeting today. And if there's anything that we can do for you, Herb will keep me honest. If you see something in there that I need to address, or somebody's got a question, Laura, in the chat box, whatever, we'll get to that. We do have a LinkedIn group, Northeast Florida Senior Roundtable. So it's a way also to find each other after the meeting. If you say, I met that Carrie lady who's really nice, who works at River Garden, and I forgot to get her contact information. She's probably in the LinkedIn group, and you can find her there, and it'd be a way for you to continue to connect and post those same kinds of things that we just talked about in the chat box. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our meeting sponsor, Matthew, if you will, and you've got 3 minutes on the clock. Please tell us all about your organization and the services that you offer.
Thanks, Laura. Appreciate it. Yeah, my name is Matthew Hardy, and I own Assisting Ann's Home Care along with my wife, Tracy Hardy. We are a private duty home care agency. Like I said, we're family owned. My stepmother is the RN for the organization. My wife's cousin works the front desk, so very much family oriented. We are an agency, which means all of our caregivers are W-2 employees. That means they're under our license, under our insurance, under our workers' comp. And that's important when you think about someone coming out to your house to provide service. We know it's no small thing to ask a stranger into your home, especially to start caring for yourself or a loved one. So we also thoroughly background check all of our employees with the local, state, federal, for criminal, medical, and driving histories as well. One of the reasons we do what we do here at Assisting Hands is it's personal for us, like it is for so many. We've cared for grandparents going through dementia and health issues, but recently it's become even more poignant for us with my own mother being diagnosed with early onset dementia. So we understand the stress of what it is to care for a loved one going through that. And that's how we staff our agency. That's how we run our agency, is who do I want caring for my mom? Who would I want coming into her house? And how do we want her to be treated? So that's the way we like to run this company. That's the way we like to think about care, is that we make it personal, and we like to make an impact. And we see the impact that good care can make. We see the burdens lifted off the family when we do our job right. We see that they're able to be better caregivers themselves when we're not there, because they've had some respite and some rest. We see just the relief that can come from having someone else to do the things that may be challenging to do as a son or daughter, to do the kind of dignity care for your parents. And it's a hard job that we have. It's a hard job that we do, but to get to see it every once in a while, we get to see the joy that we bring, the happiness that we can bring back to a family in the midst of a difficult time. So if you need any help at home, or know someone who needs some help at home, maybe just some respite care, maybe they just need a break, you can feel free to give us a call. We're able to help with most of the what we call activities of daily living, like the bathing, grooming, dressing, transferring, driving, meal prep, light housework, that kind of thing. We do offer a free on-site consultation. I'll come out to your house, speak to you, your family, even if it's on a Zoom call for someone who's not around. So happy to give us a call. We will include a brochure to be sent out with the information afterwards. Give us a call, 904-746-1036. And thanks for the opportunity.
Matthew, thank you so much. And do you mind putting your contact info, website, and all that stuff in the chat box for folks in case they're like, you know what, I need to get that down, and you can type it right in the chat box to everybody. And then absolutely whatever brochure or anything that you have, we'll get that sent out next week when Gabby sends out the post-meeting information. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll do exactly that.
Okay. All right. So let's see who is here. Give you a chance to say hello to each other. Meet and greet, if you will, please. We'll send you into some breakout groups and give you an opportunity to say hello to each other. Let me get everything up here first. So if you'll share name, if applicable, what organization are you with? We've got some folks here today, a couple folks I know at least that are concerned and caring for loved ones that need some help around this whole falls prevention thing. So if applicable, share your organization, your role, what your organization does, and what's a bucket list place that you would like to visit. You'll have 8 minutes on the clock. There will be a clock ticking down inside your breakout room. So you can see how much time is left on that. And then you'll get a 1-minute warning telling you that the room is going to close. We'll ask for somebody to be the room leader, and really the room leader's role is to just make sure everybody gets a chance to share and talk and introduce themselves. And that person who's got that brightest color on, we're going to ask for you to be the room leader. So we'll send you automatically. We'll bring you back automatically. This is just time for you to be able to say hello and get to know who does what out there, and hopefully grow your network. So let me pause for just a second. Any questions at all? Okay, Herb, I think we're ready. So let me go ahead and there we go. Okay. So we are really excited. And Kris says, I don't have to share all of this, but there's some things in there that were really cool that because of how much space we have in the email invites that Gabby puts together, we can't include everything. So I wanted just to make sure. I mean, even that third paragraph that they've been approved to take Medicare and those kinds of things. So a lot of great information that Kris is going to be sharing with us. And Kris has several videos that he's going to be playing because of a licensing situation with one of them. We can't record that one. So just a heads up, if you see the YouTube a little bit later, we're going to cut that out intentionally and not include it so we don't get Kris in trouble with his licensing company. And then I'm going to stop sharing, Kris, and I'm going to turn it over to you. So please, any other introduction that you would like to give on yourself that you don't see here or that you want to add, please feel free to do so. And Kris, it is all yours.
All right. So now I should click. Okay. So my name is Kris Wilson. I'm an occupational therapist. My company is Modified Independence Evaluations. And like Laura was saying, we just started being able to take Medicare. I'm more than happy to meet all of you and network with all of you. I think that there's ways that that my company can assist you. Most recently, we've been able to provide our home assessment services for Medicare patients. So while we're doing the presentation today, please keep in mind if you've ever seen a person in the community or somebody that comes to your centers or anything like that that looks like they need help, it's kind of like an iceberg. Whatever they're presenting to you on the outside, I promise you that there's a lot going on the inside. Now, what we do is we do comprehensive in-home safety assessments. What we're going to look at here is an example of a video that was made for me. It's about 4.5 minutes. And
I'm Kris Wilson with Modified Independence Evaluations. A home safety assessment really helps people understand how they can live safely in their homes. Consultants can see the space through a new lens. And it starts at the front door. Uneven doorways are a big hazard. Having furniture that is the right height really reduces injury and fall risk.
Sit down on the couch here, make sure it's a good height for you. All right, look, your feet are flat on the floor and everything. Go ahead and stand up for me.
This one is just right.
Now we're gonna go check out your bedroom.
Okay.
All right? Ring, 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 time to wake up.
People fall getting out of bed more often than you think. The use of a bed handle and a bed of proper height can make all the difference in preventing a fall.
But I think that extra move, that extra propping on your arm, if you put a bed handle in, it would give you something to hold on to, and you won't put too much pressure on that
I
arm.
think that's a great idea.
I always check rugs. Non-slip rugs can wear out too. A a lot of people sustain serious injuries from falls in the bathroom. So this is a very important part of my home safety assessment.
So unlike your couch, we don't want the toilet to be so tall. So right now you're on a comfort height toilet, and we really prefer to see you on a standard height toilet. And then we would probably want to go ahead and move that grab bar down, since this one was put in for this toilet height. Okay, and then stand up for me. Good, so I know you can get up and then just move out of the way. And I just want to show you how easily these things move. It doesn't take very much. Usually I just pull on it with my foot.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. So
And I can.
yeah, so I usually recommend putting down some kind of glaze on the tile, you know, something to increase the friction, and then make sure you change those mats out every couple of years. All right, let's go ahead and check out your shower now.
Okay,
I just want to see how you get in and out of the shower. Okay, so go ahead and step in.
so first what I do is I lay although these tiles are, I still lay my mat.
How you get into the shower, even a low clearance shower, is important. Bracing on a glass door is not a good idea, ever.
So I'm gonna go ahead and have you step out of the shower.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so I don't know if you noticed this, but when you were getting in the shower, you little touch on the doors here, okay? And then also when you were getting out of the shower, you had a hold of this grab bar, and you were holding on to these, you know, these doors move a little bit, you know? So I'd really probably prefer to see two hands here or even a hand out here when you step up.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so now let me talk about this mesh,
Okay.
all right?
Again,
Get in.
non-slip mats fail.
See how easily that moves?
Right.
All right, let me put all-
Properly placed horizontal grab bars, textured tile, and a shower chair are the winning combo.
You should probably consider putting a shower chair in there,
Okay.
you know, and then you got a nice safe place, then we don't have to worry about the rubber mats and everything.
In the kitchen, I look for ease of use. So many times cabinets are hard to use without a step stool,
So I've got some.
and we should never, ever use a step stool.
And the nice thing is, these knobs are quite,
I want to make sure that I cover all of your concerns. I know that I.
Each visit concludes with a conversation about what I saw. I give you an opportunity to ask as many questions as you need, and then I send a written report detailing the findings, and then also providing resources and links for the changes that I recommend.
I loved it very much. He helped me a lot, and I understand now what I need to do to make myself safe and my place safe for me to live here.
Oops. There we go. All right. I'm assuming you guys can hear me. All right. So so that video, we did that out at Cypress Village last year. And incredibly, when I was there, one of the first things that I noticed was her front door. When you open the door, the tile inside of the home was actually about a half an inch taller than the carpeting in the hallway to her place. And I brought it to the attention of management, and they went back through and actually remedied all of the transitions in that area, which was incredible to me. They realized that there was an issue and immediately did something about it. I like to share some of the experiences that I've had. I had an opportunity to, not only do we take insurance, but I also worked with a grant program. Ooh, come back here. Shoot, what did I do? And a lot of times it affords me the opportunity to see what people are living in. Now, this gentleman, like we were talking about the front door, this gentleman decided to put tile out there over a couple of 2x4s. And when he slid downhill, somebody suggested that he come out and put some tread strips on the tile. Can anybody guess where he fell the second time on this ramp? At the bottom of the ramp where there wasn't any tread strips. So he went down twice on this, and you know, we went out to the house. We went out to the house and were able to recommend a rubber ramp that was going to work much better for his application. Stop that one. Okay. Now, can anybody tell me where the number one place in the home is where people fall?
The bathroom.
Okay, so common sense would dictate that that's the case, but actually, as we get older, it's not the case. And the reason is because people choose to keep their super tall bed and instead use a step stool to get in and out. So the bedroom is actually the most dangerous place. It beats out the bathroom by 2 percentage points. And if you figure in the living room where people tend to nest in their recliners with everything that they're going to need for the next 12 hours, you or I, if we were sitting in a chair for 6 hours, our feet would go numb and we'd try to stand up and it would take you a couple minutes to mobilize yourself. Now, imagine being 30 or 40 years older, maybe less active, less strong, taking blood pressure medications, pain pills, anti-diabetes medications for neuropathy and things like that. And that's why we end up with almost 40% of the falls occur in the bedroom and living room areas where people spend an extended amount of time in a seated, reclined, or supine position. Coming up next, we're going to talk about the bathroom, okay? And one of the quotes that was on the screen leading into this was the tub and a $10,000 problem with a $100 solution. I walk into homes all the time. I actually went into an assisted living facility that had all the tubs ripped out or didn't even plan it with tubs. They did step-in showers. And every place that I went into, they were having difficulties with their step-in shower. Now, it doesn't escape me, being a child of the 70s and 80s, that sometimes people just want to soak in a bathtub. Remember the Calgon commercials, right? And what we have is we have somebody like me, I'm 47, I could go soak in a bathtub anytime I want to, pour a couple of Epsom salts in there, light a candle, everything like that. But these seniors, they can't get down into the tub. They can't reach the benefits of being able to soak in Epsom salts for anti-inflammatory benefits and things like that. But actually they can. You leave your tub alone, you buy a $55 chair that goes over the edge of the tub, or you buy one of these $400 bath lifts. Now we're talking about spending less than $500 in order to be able to utilize the bathtub for both of the purposes that we would use it for, showering and bathing. All right. The last thing that I like to say about the bathroom is I like to call this the coffin bathroom. All right. This bathroom is the bathroom that most of us have gone into when we go into the home. It's 4 foot by 6 foot, about the width of a coffin and about the length of a coffin. But the problem is that you can't fit everything in that bathroom that needs to be in that bathroom for a senior. You can see here in the picture, we've got some extra wide toilet rails that are supposed to go around this toilet. It's an elongated bowl toilet, so it's taken up a huge footprint of the bathroom. They've got an improperly secured elevated toilet seat on top of it. There's a death rug in the middle of the bathroom that they're thinking is going to absorb water when it actually doesn't. There's a diagonal grab bar that's way too far away from the toilet. The toilet paper is way too tall. There's a tub with a shower chair that's not appropriate, a rubber mat that's going to slide, and a sink that is in the way of being able to use an ambulatory device to get into the bathroom. The list could go on and on and on, but I'm just pointing out the obvious things that all of you guys should be seeing. The way that this should actually be fixed is that should actually be a round bowl toilet in order to preserve square footage in the bathroom. It should be, it actually did not need to be elevated. This person was not tall enough to need a comfort height toilet. If we sit on a toilet that's too tall, then we end up with issues of not being able to have a complete bowel movement. A wall-mounted sink that's a little bit lower profile would make a huge difference there. And then, of course, a tub transfer bench for $55, knowing that they paid $42 for the chair that's already in there. So $13 more for the appropriate chair would have saved them a lot of issues. Now we're going to move on to the other video that I wanted to share. This is the point in a recording where we have to stop the recording. This is the Saving Claire project. It is a video about a fictitious character named Claire who falls multiple times and the issues that her family goes through.
Kris,
So,
can I ask a quick question?
yeah.
And thank you for reminding me, and my Zoom producer is going to help me make sure we hit that pause button for you. But so for the bathroom, and you don't need to go back to the picture, but the picture you showed when you were telling the story about that you could take an Epsom salt bath, et cetera, et cetera. Did that chair that you were showing us, does that go down into the water where they're
Yes. Yeah,
so
it's battery operated. The remote is what plugs into the wall, so you don't have to worry about getting electrocuted. And there's literally a green button and a red button. And I encourage, if you have any questions about this equipment, I have a YouTube channel. It's under the name of my company, Modified Independence, where I actually have videos about a lot of this equipment that I recommend, and continue to add videos about the fallacies about bedside commodes and how they fit over toilets, how to lower beds, how to make your own bed handles, stuff like that. So resources in the community, if you're looking for answers like that, then you can check out my YouTube channel where a lot of that information is there. And it's actually called a Bella Vita bath lift chair. They're about $400 on Amazon, and they're worth every single penny.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so I'm gonna hit the pause button and you can share when you're ready.
I see all of you. Oh, there we go. So I can't see all of you, but I am 99.9% positive that everybody in this room who's ever worked with seniors knows a Claire. And I get phone calls all the time from adult children of seniors, and the first thing they say is, well, mom's kind of stubborn, right? And I think we use that as a moniker for people that have not been presented the best options. Okay. It seems to be that, we get older, we develop health issues, and we just start accumulating all of this stuff of senior age, walkers, canes, wheelchairs, ramps, shower chairs, all of these different things. And a lot of times it comes from people taking advice from their neighbors. And their neighbors are most likely not clinical. They're most likely making the same mistakes, and they're most likely leading their friend and neighbor down the exact same pathway of bad decisions. There's things that I agree with in the video. I got a hold of the video after the video was already made, and there's things that I don't agree with in the video. Personally, I think that everybody should be active, but if we're looking at things realistically, we have an aging population that did not see fitness the same way when they were in their 20s and 30s as we do now. So I think that the next following generations are going to do much better about keeping their fitness and their nutritional intake up properly. But right now we're dealing with the generation that smoked cigarettes, drank soda, and basically is dealing with breathing issues and diabetes. So from my standpoint, what we do is we look at the root cause of the falls. And there's academics and other therapists that are probably going to argue with me about this, but I do not and never have ever believed that a lack of balance or a lack of strength are the actual root cause of a fall. Even in the video, when Claire was walking behind the chair and tripped over the rug, did she fall because she had broken her arm? Did she fall because she took a pain pill? Did she fall because of the rug that was on the floor? She fell because of the rug that was on the floor, right? If that rug had not been there, she would not have fallen. So the root cause of her fall was the rug that was in the way. It was an obstacle. Now, in the video, you see them bring in a home health therapist, and she makes some recommendations and everything like that. And everybody should be making recommendations. I mean, I go to visit friends, and, they're telling me about their mom, tripped over a rug in the hallway. And I'm like, well, you got to get rid of that rug, right? I've never seen the rug. I've never seen the person, but, we should all be offering advice. But the problem that we run into a lot of times is that the people who are offering advice only know a very small portion of the toolkit. For instance, in the 4x6 bathroom video or image that I showed you, the shower chair was recommended for the lady. Unfortunately, she's kind of aged out of the shower chair. That shower chair does fit in her tub. if she had been given a bedside commode that Medicare would pay for, that bedside commode would not have fit inside of her tub. So it's a matter of understanding how to accommodate a space and how to make it safer. I have watched Saving Claire hundreds of times. I was blessed last year to be able to work with a grant program where we went to 199 homes in Clay and Duval counties, and we were able to administer a home safety assessment, as well as looking at the spaces and then helping them get the appropriate resources in the community. And it always strikes me that there's always a lot of nodding heads whenever I watch a room full of people watch this video. Everybody knows how this video ends. I personally have 5 Claires in my history. Patients that we knew were going to fall. We kept telling them they were going to fall. And eventually those falls ended up costing them their independence and then ultimately their life. I remember one lady in specific, she was told multiple times she had broken her arm. She broke her arm 3 times in a row. She would literally get past the knitting phase of the bone and then she'd fall again and break the arm. And I remember working with her, and we were trying to work with the surgeon because he didn't want to have to amputate her arm. And I went out to her house and she had fallen, and I got the surgeon on the phone, and the arm was very bad. And they got her to the hospital, and they ended up having to amputate her dominant arm. And she didn't change. We tried everything we could to get her resources and get her family involved. Unfortunately, her family had kind of washed their hands of the situation because they knew that she had some drinking problems and things like that. So from my standpoint, you can take somebody who's stubborn and you can still keep them safe. We don't have to change the way that they live in their homes. We have to change the way that they interact with their homes. And the best way to do that is to get somebody who's certified into the home, who can understand exactly what should be done to the home and try to limit the amount of money that they're spending. The average senior spends $20,000 from the time that they retire until the time that they move out of their home, modifying their home. I can tell you that through the grant program and going into homes, I totaled up a bunch of my assessments, and I don't think a single one of the assessments that was in a, there wasn't a wheelchair or something like that involved. None of my assessments ended up totaling more than like $1,800 worth of modifications. And that's durable medical equipment that is the right size and the right height. That is not spending money on grab bars. I personally don't feel like grab bars save people. They end up being an encumbrance a lot of times. People hold on to them. I often wonder if you're standing in the shower and washing your hair. I don't have any, but if you're washing your hair and holding on to a grab bar, I'm going to switch and grab a hold of the other grab bar when I got to wash this side of my head or down my back or whatever. If your balance is bad enough that you're worried about holding on to a grab bar, getting in or out of the shower, on or off the toilet, specifically the shower, if you're worried about holding on to a grab bar during that process, then maybe you should just be sitting down. Because the only way you're going to fall when you're sitting down is if you black out. And if you're blacking out, that's probably medication related. So there's a lot of things that we look at from the front door into the home, and we can help provide people with resources as far as what we would recommend. A lot of you in this room, I know I have provided your information to patients and clients in the past because they needed an in-home caregiver, or they needed, Meals on Wheels, or they needed accessibility with a grant for a ramp or things like that. So we are approved as of September to be able to take all major insurances. And I think a lot of times if we can get in front of a senior, I'm not out there to try to get them to exercise. How are we doing today? I never said that to patients, but it just cracks me up. Everybody in the room laughs whenever she says that because we're used to that, right? The therapist walks in, is all chipper and everything. They have their purpose. Her job was to be there to see her and help her understand how to address her ADLs. In my opinion, Claire should have discharged home with an assessment from Modified Independence. to give her an idea of everything that needed to be done in her home, because she only broke her arm, right? So instead of going in with this approach that she needed to exercise and she needed to address these things, maybe a softer approach, looking at the home and helping her understand, and we would have gone a different direction with this situation. But a lot of times I've found as a therapist working in home care that when we push an agenda that we need to get in there and we need to help you exercise and we need to help you do this and everything, then it ends up creating a greater divide and creating a little bit of pushback from the patients. But if we can get in there and show them that their home can be made safer and that there are resources in the community that can do those things and help them, and just show them just a general level of care from the community, I think we end up with a lot better outcomes. And I look forward to the future of being able to do this. CDC says that an assessment of the home by an occupational therapist certified in home safety reduces falls by 61%. So there's an easy way to go about this. And with the aging generation that we have in front of us, I think it's a great opportunity to save the $16 billion that we spend annually on injuries as a result of falls. Does anybody have any questions, comments?
Yeah, so Kris, I a couple questions, and please, if anybody else does, if you unmute yourself, we can see that you've unmuted, and we'll make sure that you get your voice out there also. So if somebody wants you to come out and things like that, and it's covered for Medicare, does it have to be doctor recommended, or can they call you on their own? How does that process start if insurance or Medicare is involved?
So because we do take Medicare, we have to ensure that that when we do get because we take private pay and we also take insurance. So sometimes I have had people call me privately and say, I want to pay you to come out to my home. And I'm like, okay, Mrs. Smith, have you fallen in the past 60 days? Ask a few questions. And we actually were not able to do it privately. We had to bill through insurance because we have to provide that option to them. So it's just a matter of, the easiest thing to do is to connect the people that are in need with me, and then we can find the way that we will get paid. People don't even realize they might have bought. I'm 47. We just invested in a long-term care insurance policy. So if you think about a 67-year-old person that bought a long-term care insurance policy when they're in their 40s, might not even realize that there's a policy that will pay for an assessment and pay for the modifications in the home and pay for caregivers that Matt might be putting in there.
And then what counties do you service? Like how far are you able to go or willing to go, or what's your service area?
So I drive free of charge anywhere within 60 miles of my home here in beautiful Orange Park, Florida. If you've never been across the ditch, there's a whole world over there to come and experience. But 60 miles gets me to Amelia Island, I'm going to blank, down south of St. Augustine, gets me almost to Lake City. So we take doctor's orders anywhere within that circle, and I don't charge mileage. Otherwise, I cover the entire state of Florida for the brain and spinal cord injury program, which takes me to Miami and Tallahassee. And during COVID, we were doing workers' comp assessments via Zoom. So I even tell people, if you're going home to visit mom and dad for the holidays, or an aunt and uncle, and you're concerned about them, you can just pull me up on FaceTime. As long as you have a tape measure and a working cell phone signal, we can figure out what needs to be done in a home. And it works really well. I don't have to be there, as long as you can show me what I need to see.
And then my last question, and then I see Pamela and Kris. I'm sorry, Pamela is unmuted, so then I'm going to pass it to Pamela. But last question is the grants that you were working on over with, or is that still something that people can tap into?
Those ended on January 20th, actually.
Okay.
And now that the grants have been completed, now the work is being done to get the modifications done and get the durable medical equipment and things like that I recommended into those homes.
Okay. And Pamela, please.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to say that I've recommended Kris to my clients because you can hear his heart. He is an advocate for seniors. Certainly he has a business to run, but first and foremost, he places their best interest above anything else. And that's when you can find a provider who honestly does all that, then that, you know, that just has to be honored. He does a phenomenal job. I can't even begin to tell you some of the crazy situations that I've sent him out to. A mobile home without, where the resident could not get into the inside bathroom, and so he was showering himself after dark so no one would see him naked in his backyard.
Yeah. Yep. That's seniors. Thank you, newly crowned Gigi. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I
The
appreciate
new grandma.
Yep.
Chris, how about for somebody who is in a wheelchair? So do you do, and it sounded like kind of what Pamela was just saying, do you do modifications if they have, you know, do you recommend modifications for somebody who's in a wheelchair as far as how their house could be not necessarily safer, but more accessible to them? Is that something also?
Yeah, because there's two different things at play when we're talking about a home. We're talking about accessibility, but we're also talking about usability. It doesn't do any good to roll into the bathroom if you cannot use the toilet or the shower. I've been called many times by organizations that are like gung-ho to go build a ramp. I know one in particular, they needed a 36-foot ramp. So I go out to the home, I'm looking at the ramp situation, and I'm talking to the gentleman sitting in his living room, and he said, I just don't want to have to poop into a bucket. He said, you guys can build me a ramp, but I still can't get into my bathroom. So, you know, when we're talking about these charitable organizations that are putting their money together, this guy only leaves his house whenever ambulance comes and picks him up. And there's plenty of strong firemen who can come pick him up and carry him down the stairs if he needs to. If the house is on fire, he could probably throw himself out the back door in a pinch, right? But in this case, what he really needed was to be able to get into his bathroom so he could use it. He was brushing his teeth in the sink and pooping in a bucket. That doesn't make any sense to me. And honestly, the $5,200 that group was going to spend on the ramp could have been spent much more wisely on some other modifications that would have made much more difference to his space. And I appreciate what Pam said, and I want people to understand that I have zero conflict of interest. I don't swing a hammer. I don't have any tools with me. I have a tape measure and a phone. And then my next goal is to help people understand, like, I'm not there when Mrs. Smith says that she wants purple tile and grab bars everywhere. I'm not there to make people happy. I am there to make the clinically relevant recommendations that will make people safe based on science and research and observation as a professional. So when people call me and they're like, well, I want my whole bathroom ripped out and, you know, I want marble tile, and I'm like, okay, I know somebody who can help you with that, and they can walk you through that entire process. But if you want to know clinically how to make your home safe, how to make your home caregiver safe, that's a whole other issue with Matt and his caregivers going into the home. That's when you really need an expert going into the home who can speak that language, understand what's going on with the patient medically, and be able to forecast how that medical diagnosis is going to affect them in the future. It doesn't do any good to treat the problem today that's going to be there tomorrow. We might as well be fixing the problem from the beginning, and that way they can learn how to use this equipment appropriately. Nailed it. 10-20.
There you go. So any last questions? We've got a minute or two. If anybody has a question, please feel free to unmute yourself. I'm keeping an eye on the participant window so I can see if anybody's unmuted. Gabby, please.
Oh, it's not a question, but I really enjoyed that video and your presentation, Kris. You know, when I thought about your work, I thought it was just, okay, don't fall. But I didn't think about all the people that their homes aren't accessible, pooping in buckets, showering outside. Like, this is a matter of dignity, safety. I didn't realize how far your work went. So I thought that was really interesting. I just wanted to make that comment.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Let me make sure if there anybody else. I think we're good. Robin, please.
I was just saying, what's your contact information, Kris?
I was just getting ready to do that. There we go. There's my contact information. That's me. That came up, right?
And then, Kris, if you don't mind, could you put at least the minimal amount of information into the chat box also? As people can grab it from the chat box. Also, you can also take a picture. And then, Kris, I think you're going to give us something to send out when Gabby sends the post-meeting information out next week. We can include a brochure and stuff there too. So if you don't mind, even just putting your contact information in the chat box, because we've got about 5 more minutes, and then people can grab that as we're wrapping up the meeting and it will stay there versus me bumping you in about 10 seconds off the screen.
Okay. And there was one other thing I was going to say. I forgot what it was. Never mind. Go on.
All right. If you think of it, just jump back in. Robin, did you have anything else?
No, I just wanted to add though, I know Lori Anderson gets the invites. Can I get added to that as well?
Absolutely. The magic person is Gabby, who is
Okay.
right here with us. So if you want to, you can either chat to her directly via the chat box, or if you want everyone to have your contact information, just put it in the chat box to everyone. Otherwise, you can open up the drop-down box and go to Gabby. And Gabby, if you don't mind grabbing that, she's probably doing it right now and adding you to the list. So anybody who wants to be on the email list, anybody, if you have colleagues, just let Gabby know and she'll get them on the email list so you have future meeting notices. All right, Chris,
Oh,
if you're good, I'm going to bump you off.
Hold on. Don't forget the surveys. You probably received a pre and post survey. Feel free to fill it out, take a snapshot of it, and text it to me to the number that's in the chat box and on your screen. And then we can get that to them so that they can see the results of what you guys did. Thank you.
What
Okay.
survey are you referring to? Excuse me?
They're in the chat, but we will also send them in the post email. So if you take a look, you're going to see a survey in there. I have everybody's email addresses, so I'm going to also email it out to you. The challenge, Chris, is it is a PDF, so people can't actually fill it out.
If you take the time to print it out and fill the numbers in and snap it, I really appreciate it. I understand the difficulty there, but just imagine you never saw the video and fill out the pre one and then fill out the post one.
Okay.
However it works. I
And for
appreciate it.
the post email, I think I could probably turn that into a Word doc for the email. I think I can.
Good. So, Gabby, you can either grab them out of the chat box or we'll send them to you offline. So if you want to hang for a minute once the meeting's over, we can make sure you have what you need. But both of them are in the chat box right now.
You know, Gabby, this is Kathy with the Talking Books Library. I know there are programs where you can convert a PDF file into an accessible, writable, usable document. And I can't resist taking the chance to say that we all could think about that a little bit more. I work with a lot of people that depend on screen readers like JAWS and so on. They can't read PDF files, and we zoom them around all over the place. If it's just as easy to use another type of file, that would be wonderful. Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much. And how about a round of applause for Chris? Please join me. Virtually,
good job, Chris.
your little hand going up, whatever. And I want a huge thank you to this group that you see here. They plan these meetings. They talk about what is the next good topic that we should invite to speak. And they tell us who the great resources are, like Chris. Immediately, Pamela and Gabby both said, Chris is fantastic. We need to get him for this. So we are very grateful that Chris could join us. A couple last things, and I'm going to come to this door prize here in just a second. You'll see when the next meetings are. They're right there. Liliana, you had a question. I'm sorry. Let me stop for just a second. Liliana, did you have a question?
No, I did not. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. Okay. Oh, you were doing the clapping. Okay, got it. So our next meeting is May 3rd, and it is going to be the Florida Ombudsman program. So we already have the speaker and the topic lined up. So we know that is going to be the case. We're again looking for an opportunity to do a social network in person. No program, anything like that, just for folks who say we'd like to get together in person. We meet each other on Zoom. It'd be nice to have some FaceTime with that. So with that, let me come back to the previous slide here. All right. So our meeting sponsor, Matt and his organization have donated two $25 gift cards that will be emailed to 2 winners from our Wheel of Names. So I'm going to stop sharing. Herb is going to do the spin for us. You should be able to bump me. There you go. Okay. So ready? We're spinning. Spinning, spinning, spinning. Eustachius.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations, Eustachius. We'll check with you afterwards and make sure that gets emailed to you. And we have one.
Thank you.
And Janice. Congratulations, Janice. There you go. And Janice will touch base with you after the meeting. And again, Matt will get those emailed to you. So thank you everybody for coming today. Kris, thank you so much. I learned a ton. I will be helpful to everybody I know, and even thinking of my own house. So even if it doesn't apply to us yet, which of course it does, everybody knows somebody that is dealing with either a caregiver situation or elderly parents or somebody in a home that might be disabled and needs some extra help. So thank you so much for that. Matt and Tracy, I think it is, for the organization. Thank you so much for being our sponsor today. We really appreciate it. And we hope to see you at our next meeting. Again, check in with Gabby if you would like to be added to the email address invite list if you're not already. So with that, thank you all very much for coming. We'll give you 2 minutes of your life back, and very much appreciated. Great presentation today, Kris. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. Y'all have a great day. Be safe.
Thanks all.
Thanks, Kris.